script. Here we go.
Patient existed no more. What if Zionism is the second coming of Christ? Destruction is the matrimony in sight, because if we are the Messiah, then God is not white. What if life is the afterlife and we already dead? The footage of the moment replayed in your head, looping over until you die for the second time. What if power influence your intelligence and mind, and those with the lesser are really the oppressors, but you still steal this land under that pressure? Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
Palestine and Ferguson.
Oh, this has got a good beat, Tom.
Oh, wait, you hear that?
Yeah, this has got a good beat.
No, hear what they just said. Listen.
We fight to free our nations. Palestine and Ferguson in the occupation. Ferguson and Palestine, we fight to save our nation. Palestine and Ferguson in the occupation.
Yeah, I like it.
Palestine and
Ferguson,
Ferguson.
yeah.
Palestine and Ferguson, we got to free the occupation.
Is that what that is? Yeah. Yeah, this is a good beat, man.
Hold on.
This should be our new bumper here.
All right. Enough of that.
Well, I want to hear it some more. This is good, Tom. This is good stuff, man. This is good stuff.
Hula, 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 hula.
Hula, hula, hula,
If you
goomba bunga.
could, can you play them behind me with no sound? As
Yeah. I put that as a,
explain-
why don't you, hook that video up. Or send me the video, Damon, and I'll put it in the tribe.
behind.
And I'll put it behind.
I'll get it too.
Okay.
And I'll
we can do
explain
that.
to the folks in a little bit. But I do need a script, which I left in my office.
Okay.
I do
There was
need one of
another
those.
tape I thought you wanted to see.
Yeah, we do. Now, what we're doing on the 3rd of February here, 2015, everybody, hello, Tom Trento, enemies of the state. Just saw a couple of enemies from Ferguson. They're over in Palestine. And we're going to have a guest shortly coming in live from Israel. But these folks literally are from Ferguson, Missouri. They're part of the, thank you, my invisible arm.
Invisible hand.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it, or I'd zoomed it in on you.
I would have shifted over. They're part of the Ferguson nonsensical protest, which was irresponsibly not fact-based. We know that now. But they're over in Nazareth, where Jesus is from, and they're doing their Ferguson Palestine solidarity kind of Afro, Black People Matter protest. And we're going to look at that in a little bit. But we also got some other folks over from the United States helping out in Israel, helping the anti-Netanyahu folks, helping those folks get Benjamin Netanyahu unelected, helping him lose. And we have one of our guys, Michael Gano, who runs Hershey's for Heroes and Insight to Israel radio show and a great benevolent candy program for soldiers. He went out and captured some footage, and we're going to show you his footage right now. He was out the other day, and he ran across V15, Victory 15. These are the folks funded by the leftists here in America and leftist Jews in Israel to defeat Obama. Michael Gano went right into the middle of them and asked them, who are you guys? What are you doing here? Take a look.
He is filing a...
Stop, but go ahead.
Stop, but go ahead.
Go ahead.
Hey,
a legal complaint against groups that come from the outside of Israel.
They come out of the outside of Israel.
Your funding's coming from outside of Israel.
That's not true either.
Yes, it is.
Let us speak about that.
Okay, I'm here with, let me say, I'm here with V15 in front of the press office, and these young people are here. I'm going to let them tell you what their purpose for being out here. What's your name?
I'm Liad, and I'm from Victory 15. Our organization started out in the living room, and now 4 weeks after, we're here bringing hope and change to the Israeli government.
Hope and change.
What we stand for is the hope to bring more change. We do not stand for a specific party, but all of us, from all the parties, want to change how we see Israel today. That's what we stand here for.
So what kind of change are you hoping to see? What?
מישהו מגיע?
What kind of change are you actually hoping to see?
We're hoping to see a political change in the government and the change to get outside of the conflict of everything we got in here in Israel. We do not feel hope anymore. There's no hope in the streets and there's no hope at homes, and we want to bring that hope back.
Okay, but be specific with me. Like, what do you want to change?
We want to change the government.
Okay, and what about the government do you not like?
We do not like the cynical use of no hope and deathlock that Israel and the public stands in today. Excuse my English.
Okay. What do you think the biggest problem with Israel is today?
No hope.
No.
But I need something more specific. You're talking to an international audience here.
No, I totally know, and I'm part of that audience as well. What we try to bring
Part of his own
is
audience.
a new wind to the political game in Israel.
And what's wrong with the political game now?
It shows no hope. It shows in the last 6 years we had the same political party standing with a strong arm on the government, telling us there is no way to change. There is no way to change. That's what we're here to change.
Okay, but what are you trying to change? Give me...
Again, I'll say it again and again. And
Okay.
We're trying to bring hope. We're
trying to bring
change
hope.
the government. We're trying to affect the political game. So anyone who would go out and vote, do it with full hope in his heart to change things in Israel.
Okay, so there's a lot of controversy because it's been shown that there's outside money coming in to support a group like
All
yours.
the money that is coming in are from Israel and Jewish people from Israel and around the world who wants to bring changes.
So outside
From
money.
Boca Raton.
And we say it. All our money is Zionist money that comes and try to help. We are not doing anything illegal. We're getting donations as an organization, and we're not working with no political party.
Okay, all right. I
Working with the
appreciate it. All
Democratic
right.
Party of the United States.
What's that sign say right there?
They're afraid.
Huh?
They are afraid.
The pink bunny. Okay.
They're afraid.
Oh my
man.
God.
Right.
Can you
Oh my
imagine?
God.
Can you imagine what's going to be at the United States Capitol on March 3rd? You got to be there with us, folks. We're going to be there helping organize a rally on March 3rd in support of Benjamin Netanyahu coming to the United States to speak about the necessity of stopping Iran. These folks, hopey changey
Yeah,
folks,
folks.
are in Israel, and we got somebody live in a second here. These folks in Israel are there to make sure Benjamin Netanyahu is not reelected on the 17th of March.
Funded
but
by
some hopey changey person is elected. I don't know. You don't have to be a forensic scientist to say hope
change. Where have I
Sounds
heard?
remarkably
Where have I-
familiar.
where have I heard
Oh well,
that?
maybe it's
Oh.
because it's the Obama campaign people that are actually running this campaign against Netanyahu in Israel right now. Maybe that could explain the hoping
The hopey
change.
Well, let's
change.
go to an expert in Israel right now, our dear friend Arie Egozi. Ari, were you able to hear the hopey changey guy we just
No,
had
he
there?
wasn't on.
No, he wasn't on.
He wasn't on.
No, he wasn't on. You didn't tell us to put him on.
I told you I was calling him at 11:40.
All right. Well, we're gonna
have to play it again for him later on. And yeah.
Well, what we'll do, because at 14 minutes now after the hour, 14 after, is it 14 after already?
Yes.
Wow, time's flying. We're having fun. Ari, can you hear me okay? We have a live connection Skyped into Israel. Can you hear me okay?
I'm here, yes.
Good. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, we're gonna play about a minute of video. Michael Gano, a friend of ours who is over in Israel, Hershey's for Heroes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
no.
but yeah.
Abbott, yes. Costello, no. What are we
Yes.
doing?
I said yes.
He said
Our
yes.
producer
Laurel,
said
yes. Hardy, no. What are we doing? Okay, we're going to play about a minute. And for folks just tuning in again at 15 minutes after on WSBR Radio, WSBR, 7:40 a.m. on the beautiful 3rd of February, We're going to play about a minute for you. You may have heard about this, but the V15 folks, V as in Victor, V as in victory. Listen to this carefully now. This is in, right not too far from where you are, Ari. This is down in Tel Aviv, I believe. Go ahead.
Hold on 1 second. I just got to bring it back.
Yeah.
Here we go. And 3, 2, 2.5, 2.25.
Go.
1.
Play.
16th, 2.30.
And I am in front of the press office here in Tel Aviv. And currently the Likud party is filing a legal complaint against groups that come from the outside of Israel. And your funding's coming from outside of Israel.
That's not true either. Let us speak about our movement.
Okay, I'm
So
here
only
with,
that.
let me say, I'm here with B15 in front of the press office. And these young people are here. I'm going to let them tell you what their purpose for being out here. What's your name?
I'm Liad and I'm from Victory 15. Our organization started out in the living room, and now 4 weeks after we're here bringing hope and change to the Israeli government. What we stand for is the hope to bring more change. We do not stand for a specific party, but all of us, from all the parties, want to change how we see Israel today. That's what we stand here for.
So
Okay, that's
what
enough.
exactly,
Well,
what
that's
kind of
enough.
change are you hoping to see?
Oh, wait. Wait.
What?
They have to go discuss. They're discussing it among themselves.
What kind of change are you actually hoping to see?
We're hoping to see a political change in the government and the change to get outside of the conflict of everything we got in here in Israel. We do not feel hope anymore. There's no hope in the streets and there's no hope at homes, and we want to bring that hope back home.
Okay, but
All right,
be
let's
specific
go
with
out
me.
of
Like,
this.
what do you
I
want to
I wanna
change?
show
We want
Ari
to change
the
the
other one.
government.
Ari, this goes on for about 2 minutes, and Michael Gano keeps asking this kid, what does it mean, hope and change? He just keeps saying, we need hope and change in Israel.
And he gets mad. He gets mad because I told you already we want change.
We want change and we
Well,
want
what
hope,
type of change? We want change so we can have hope.
so we can have hope.
This is part of the unbelievable fighting between the parties in Israel. This V15 came seemingly out of nowhere, but there are strong people with a lot of money behind this group. Neither of the parties confess that they are connected with them. They allegedly a standalone group that wants to bring a change in Israel. It's not the first time. It's part of this crazy war that goes on in Israel between the Likud and the other with Bougie Herzog and Tzipi Livni. But that's part. We look at it as a show. Every night on TV we see these groups demonstrating, fighting. I think that the Israeli public is mature enough, and when they come on March 17, they will know what to do in order to really take care of the problems that we face in Israel. These politicians, they have their way of doing things, but we face so many problems in Israel, and every day, almost every day, we see that not only in Israel, but a few hours ago, 3 French soldiers were stabbed in Nice near a Jewish institute, and the attacker has the same name as the attacker that took hostages in Paris in the kosher supermarket. So things are going on, and these politicians are fighting. We need, after March 17, we need a strong government that will know what to do, how to handle the domestic problems that we have, and we have some domestic problems, but mainly the external problems with Hezbollah, with Hamas, with the things that are now happening in the Sinai, in Egypt. You know that 30 soldiers were killed earlier this week in Sinai, and the Egyptian army is still helpless in dealing with that, because they know the country, they are hiding in the mountain area. So there are so many problems that Israel is facing and will face. So we really need a strong government, but we have some 30 parties competing. This is democracy, but it's a little far-fetched. 30 parties for the elections. But as I say, this is only one example of the things that we see every day here.
All right, well, we got a lot going on in Israel right now. We have Arie Egozi with us, Israel's Homeland Security Home. That's the name of his website, Israel's Homeland Security Home. And Ari's one of the key editors, general editor there, dealing with a website that focuses on national security for the state of Israel, on the various conferences and hardware and theories related to national security. Ari was my host when I was there not too long ago. By the way, Ari, just about an hour ago, I spoke with Dr. Kedar, Dr. Mordecai Kedar, who now is in the United States. He's on a tour here in the United States.
I know.
We're working on having him on the show tomorrow from the United States. But there's a lot we need to discuss with you. We showed you a little piece of these nonsensical, goofy leftist kids who we believe are being financed by some very wealthy Jewish folks around the world. In particular, one, we won't mention him yet until we get a little more evidence, who doesn't live far from where we broadcast, and his name has been associated with V15. We're going to look into that and expose that because this is simply an effort to derail.
Do you want to put his
Netanyahu.
picture up?
No, that's not him. This is V15. Go ahead and put
V15,
it up.
okay.
I'll run the B-roll.
Well, no, I didn't. I
Whose
didn't
picture?
know.
Whose
Well,
picture? No, I don't want to put
It's the
anybody's
guy
picture.
from V15. It's the head of V15.
Oh.
It's
Okay, I
not
thought the guy
it's not
was-
the
Not
local
the guy we're talking about.
That's
Right,
what
right.
I was
Local
checking.
guy.
I was
Just the
checking.
head of V15. Who is that? I don't even know who that is.
Jeremy Bird. He's a Obama operative, and that's
Oh,
part
he's
of
the
this.
okay, right.
It's part of the group that is basically using outside money to defeat Netanyahu against campaign laws.
And Ari tells us that this is pretty common over there. We're going to look into it. By the way, Ari, we're going to be in Washington, D.C. on the 3rd of March. We're helping organize a welcome party for Prime Minister Netanyahu because we hear through the grapevine every freakazoid, lefty, communist, pro-Islamic nut job is going to be there fight.
I'm losing something here. I thought Obama wasn't going to see Netanyahu because he didn't want to get involved in the politics of Israel. Wasn't that his rationale for saying that?
There was. Let me update you. Our Ministry of Defense, Boogie Alon, said today that his assessment is that the U.S. in Iran are approaching an agreement about the nuclear program, which will let Iran to stay on the threshold of a nuclear power. And if that happens, that will give Iran the position to become a moderator and will help solve some of the region problems. Can you hear that? Iran will become a moderator to try and help Washington to solve some of the problems in the Middle East. I couldn't believe my ears when I heard it, but that was said by our defense minister today.
Well,
Today.
That doesn't surprise us because we're actually in part 2 of a 3-part series on the fact, time to attack, that the United States, we're making an argument, and this is a 3-part series, which is one part of about 4 phases over the next month of an argument we're making that the United States needs to attack Iran and destroy at least 4 facilities there, not keep them in a containment or a threshold position. That's why these goofy things are on my desk. This is oil right here. This is Iran with nukes. This is the United States blocking Iran getting to the oil in the Persian Gulf and Saudi Arabia. So we're in the middle of that. And yes, we are hearing the same narrative here in the United States that as much as Obama has gone on record, by the way, Ari, here's Obama.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me zoom in on him.
Yeah,
here
zoom
for
in
you.
on him. Yeah.
By the way, just to share with you, when I talk with the experts here, very nice. When I talk with the experts here,
Say hello. Oh, wait, there he is. You can't. Say hello. All right,
Are you
talk to the
paying
expert.
attention to what I'm saying?
I'm paying attention.
We're playing.
We're playing
I'm
with it.
paying attention.
I'm listening, Ari.
When
Go
I
ahead.
talk with the experts here, they all agree that Iran will have a nuclear, a military nuclear capability. No one, not the U.S. and not Israel, will act. And the agreement that is being cooked now is not worth the paper that it will be printed on. And this is a big hoax. And I don't understand. All the experts say the same thing, and still the administration is going forward. Can you explain that?
Yes and no. We're doing a lot of work in this, and the only explanation we have is the influence of Valerie Jarrett, who is born in Iran and has the inside track to the president's brain, is influencing him in a containment policy versus a prohibition or prevention policy. And the experts we're talking to, some of whom are in the Obama administration, who have peeled off and have said there's no such thing as containment. Once they get this capability, the world changes, and not for good, for bad for
Of course.
everybody.
Well,
So-
here's
another development I'm not sure that you're aware of. The Jordanian ambassador to Israel came back to Tel Aviv last night. Do you know that?
No.
Oh yes, he came back, and that's a sign that even Jordan now understand that they should stand with Israel against ISIS, because this is the common enemy. So
Well, it's
they
a pilot, too.
sent the ambassador back to Tel Aviv. After many months, he was not here. After some events on the Temple Mount, and things are changing in the Middle East. Things are changing.
Well-
Egypt is understanding what's going on in Sinai. Jordan understand, and I'm sure that even the new king in Saudi Arabia will understand who are the bad guys and who are the good guys.
who are the Jordanian pilot? How popular is he in Jordan? I mean, to put it in context, is he like a minor celebrity now, and he's running on the news all the time? How is the Jordanian pilot that got shot down and was captured by ISIS, or the plane crashed? I don't know. How is he viewed in Jordan, and how much is that actually influencing?
Is he still alive?
Is he
Is the
still
guy
alive?
alive?
Yeah. What's the update on him?
They were ready to trade him for some ISIS prisoner, lady prisoner. I don't know. There were negotiations in recent days, but I don't know what the result. The Jordanians are tough people. I don't think that they will give much. Of course, they want this F-16 pilot that was captured by ISIS. But again, as I said, Jordan and the king understand that they should stand with Israel against the danger of ISIS. It's crazy. It took time, but at the end they understand that the ISIS is such a big danger for the whole area. So the ambassador came back yesterday. He crossed the bridge on the Jordan River, came back to his office, to his house in Tel Aviv. And this is a good sign, I think, for the development that we see in the Middle East in recent weeks.
This is very interesting. Let's throw up a map of the region, Israel with Jordan and the Sinai, the areas we're talking about. We haven't, we want you to comment, Ari, on up the north, the Golan and the Lebanese border up there where, unfortunately, 2 soldiers were killed last week. But what's happening, ladies and gentlemen, at 29 minutes after 4 o'clock on the East Coast, 29 minutes after 4 on Enemies of the State, your host, Tom Trento, with us, our special guest, Arie Egozi out of Israel. What's happening in the Middle East is almost incomprehensible, because we have these states, these countries around Israel that are sworn enemies to Israel. Their charters, their constitutions ingrain this hatred for Jews and Israel in them. But in the real world, in the real politic world, the Muslim leaders of these countries are starting to see that it isn't Jews that ought to be feared unless you're trying to hurt Jews. If you're trying to live with Jews, they're not going to hurt you. It's Muslims that need to be feared, because if the Muslims don't believe with you, they're going to kill you. The king of Jordan now knows this. The kings of Saudi Arabia knows this. General Assisi knows this. Bashar Assad knows this. So it's a phenomenal development coming out of the Arab Spring that Muslim leaders are fearing Muslims more than they're fearing Jews. But wait, the textbook says we're supposed to hate Jews. What are you doing? They're scratching their heads, and now you're seeing allegiances start to develop with Israel, with Jewish leaders to protect, because Israel has the might and the strength, some of these Arab leaders, the region. It's bizarre.
Absolutely.
And also, if you look at it, they're coming down to the point where, and this is the way the Arab Middle Eastern mind thinks: the enemy of my enemy is my friend. If they see a bigger enemy than the one that they hate, they'll make alliances with that other enemy. So even as much as they hate Jews, they feel that ISIS is a bigger threat to them. Therefore, they have to align themselves with Israel, who hates ISIS and has the strongest power and base in
Let's
there.
get a picture up of the region.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we want you to comment on this. Right now we got a picture up, Ari. You can see it. Help us understand the situation up north in Israel. And look at Iran over there to the, what's that going to be? The east, as you're looking
east
on
of
it.
Saudi Arabia and Iraq.
I will explain it very simply. Hezbollah is a proxy of Iran, of Tehran. The general that was killed in Lebanon was there to organize an infrastructure for attacks against Israel with the Hezbollah. Hezbollah is working according to direct orders that they get from Tehran. There were even in recent days, there were voices in the opposition in Lebanon claim that there must be an end to that, because they will cause a big damage to the country. They still remember the Second Lebanon War, where the Dahya was almost completely wiped out by the Israeli Air Force, and they say enough is enough. This country has a government, but it's a shadow government. The real government is the Hezbollah in Nasrallah. So this is one thing, and Syria, of course, is very weak. Syria is torn by the civil war, and ISIS is in Syria. So the two governments, the Lebanese government and the Syrian government, are very weak now, and ISIS is of course they had some problems because of the coalition attacks in recent days. But Lebanon has been taken over completely by Hezbollah, and Iran is supplying them with new weapons, with UAVs, with rockets, heavy rockets, and the situation there is very delicate. The rocket, the anti-tank rocket that they use to kill 2 Israeli soldiers. It's a rocket it's a Russian-made rocket, but it was supplied by Iran.
We have a picture of the cornet. We'll put that up. It's really vicious. But
Yeah.
so that's supplied. The Soviets gave the cornet missile, an anti-tank rocket, to Iran. Iran gave it to Hezbollah to shoot the Israeli.
Absolutely. It came via Syria. It came to the Hezbollah. They have lots of these rockets. They are deadly rockets directed by a laser beam, and this situation there, Israel did not retaliate at this stage, because that could cause an all-out war in the area. But I'm not sure that this is the last word in the area, because Hezbollah can in any minute can do something that will deteriorate the area to a new war in the region, because, as I said, they do what Iran tells them to do, and if someday the Iranians will think that it helps their interest to start a war in the north part of Israel, they will give the order, and the Hezbollah will perform it to the dot.
All right, now you said that the Iranian general who got evaporated by a missile from some helicopter somewhere were also Mughniyeh's son, Jihad Mughniyeh.
What was his name? Hold on, Tom. What's his name?
Jihad Mughniyeh.
That's his Jihad is his first name?
Jihad Imad.
Jihad Mughniyah.
Yeah.
They were on a tour to see the last preparation for a wave of attacks against Israel from the area, and some mysterious aircraft launched missiles that killed them.
Well, here's the question. The question is, what types of attacks was Iran going to perpetrate against Israel through Hezbollah, and tactically, what type of attacks, and then strategically, what are they doing? Why does Iran want Hezbollah to start attacking the Israeli army up in the north? What's their strategy behind all of that?
The strategy is that Iran doesn't have a border with Israel. Iran can attack Israel only by long-range missiles, and to attack Israel and to cause damage and casualties to Israel, they are using the Hezbollah as their proxy. Very simple. They armed the Hezbollah to their teeth with modern, very advanced weapon systems. They trained them. Some of them are going to Iran to special training camps, and it's an extension of the Iranian, of the Revolutionary Guard in Lebanon. So it's very, very easy for them. They are far away, allegedly not involved, but we know, the intelligence know, that they are giving the orders to the Hezbollah. And Lebanon now is controlled, fully controlled by the Hezbollah. Nothing happens in Lebanon without the consent of the last word of the Hezbollah. And that's why we had some voices this week from opposition people in Lebanon saying enough is enough. This country was taken completely by Hezbollah, and we will suffer, because if a war, if an all-out war breaks again, they know that they will be hit very, very, very heavily. Israel cannot sustain an attrition war with rockets. The Israeli Air Force and other forces will retaliate heavily with full force. So the Lebanese people, not the Hezbollah, they want to live peacefully. So we see a change even in Lebanon now. Things are moving. I'm not sure that things will happen, because Hezbollah is really controlling Lebanon, and if someone will try to do something, he will be dead in 5 minutes.
All right, that's a very important point we need to stress here on Enemies of the State. Tom Trento, your host. 39 minutes after the hour, 39 minutes on the East Coast after 4 p.m. on February 3rd. We have Arie Egozi analyzing our situation in the Middle East. He just made a critically important point. Israel cannot suffer a war of missile attrition by Hezbollah's 50,000, 100,000, 20 million, whatever number of rockets they have. It's a lot. And on my trip there in November, where Ari had me meet with some key individuals, they stressed the same thing. They said simply, look, Hezbollah in Lebanon has a lot of missiles, and we can't function as a country letting them fire off 50, 100 a day for, 100, 200 days.
Put this in comparison.
Well, let me finish.
Well, with New Jersey, make the size of New Jersey, the comparison, give people an idea. Let's say you have 50 to 100 missiles coming every day at New Jersey from New York and from everywhere else. Even with America's most sophisticated weapon systems in the world, it would be overwhelming for New Jersey. But
it would. I mean, if they just fire from southern Lebanon into the northern Galilee region, the Golan, if you can see on the map, the upper third of Israel, fire 50 or 100 a day. Israel isn't built that way. The people have to go underground for protection. The army is made up of standing forces, but then reservists who have to leave their job. Country can't function well in long, extended wars. So therefore, the deterrence or the defensive strategy of Israel is quick, brutal, complete annihilation. And Lebanon, the people in southern Lebanon are going, we don't like what is going to happen if
Right.
Hezbollah, starts launching missiles, because we're going to get obliterated here.
And also
It's gonna be a
Jordan.
mess.
I mean, King Abdullah of Jordan, who's is also a big key factor in this thing. What you said about King Abdullah coming to Jordan, opening up the embassy in Jerusalem. Tel Aviv. I'm sorry. I know. I think Jerusalem is the
someday,
capital.
you know.
Not Jerusalem, Tel Aviv.
Sorry, I think Jerusalem is the capital. But this guy coming over and actually setting up an embassy, because if you look back at the history of Jordan, they are probably, if you want to look for a quasi-moderate Muslim, it was founded with his father, and Queen Noor, who was an American who came over there and actually westernized King Abdullah. So he has more of a Western, leaning toward him than probably anybody else in that region.
Absolutely.
And that's a big key
Well, let's
difference.
go to one other area before we let you go, Ari. It looks like Iran, with their tentacles all over the world, South America and Venezuela,
Yes.
they've reached down into Yemen and did a little dastardly deed down there. What is their strategic goal in essentially controlling now South Lebanon through the Houthi tribe?
Sorry, I didn't hear the question.
What is Iran's strategic plan now that they have some of their people in place in Yemen?
The same thing. Yemen was a road that was used to smuggle arms into the Gaza Strip, and Yemen is located very strategically. If you look at the map, it's located very strategically. If you look at the area, so Iran has an interest to control Yemen, as they have an interest in controlling Lebanon, and it's like an octopus. They send their arms all over to establish bases from which they can operate. No matter how these people are being called, groups that are controlled and financed and armed by Iran. Iran has a strategy of operating all over the world with groups of people that get money and weapon systems and training from Tehran, and they are spreading everywhere they can go. And this is a big danger, because unlike ISIS, Iran is a country with armed forces, with technology. Only this week they have launched another satellite into space. The satellite itself, the experts say, is not meaningful, but the launcher. If you look at the launcher and you split it down, this launcher is actually a long-range ballistic missile that can reach Europe. And people do not understand that the Iranians are building capabilities of long-range ballistic missiles with nuclear bombs, nuclear systems. Together, they will threaten not only Israel, they will threaten Europe, and they will threaten even farther away. And I cannot understand how the U.S. and Washington do not see, with all the intelligence tools that they have, how are they so blind to look at the danger that is really being developed in Iran as we speak?
So let's give them on our little stage here, as we've been illustrating this in our three-part series. This illustrates nuclear weapons for Iran. So let's give them nukes. I mean, that's the solution to the turmoil in the Middle East, according to this administration. But I got to say, As of right now, the administration and the president have said, I will not let Iran go nuke. It ain't going to happen. He said that. He's on the record. And I'll tell you what.
Bull beep.
Yep. I'll tell you what.
Yes.
We see that his policy is going exactly the opposite of the words out of his mouth. But he is going to be held accountable for this policy by many, many conservatives in the United States, many people in Congress. Now, will there be any political damage to him? No. He can do whatever he wants to, but it'll be brought over to his party, and they're going to have a hard time. I mean, if Iran gets the bomb, the world changes dramatically, and thank God Netanyahu is coming over here, notwithstanding the protestations of Obama, to speak to Congress, to get them to tighten up on these sanctions and to start pulling some of the bad stuff out of Iran, increase the inspections, and cut that threshold to a year, not 2 or 3 months. Right now, they're very close to spooling up and being nuke certified in 6 months to a year, and they're going to cut that window down to 2 or 3 months. So a lot of work needs to be done. All right, Ari, you stay safe. Anything else you want to share with our folks before we got to let you go?
No, I just wanted to say that I hope that Netanyahu will really give the Congress the facts, and he knows the facts. And I hope that these facts will convince people to try and do something more serious than the U.S. is doing now, because with what is being done now against Iran, Iran will become will have a nuclear capability in less than a year. So the time is running out. Time is running out.
It really is. All right, Arie Egozi, Israel's homeland security home. You take care. Stay very safe there. We'll see you either with breaking reports or we'll get back to our regular update next week with you, okay?
Thank you very much.
You take care.
you.
Arie
Shalom.
Egozi, everybody.
Bye-bye. Shalom.
Yep.
That's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, once you start delving into this stuff, it's much more than
Scary.
Oh, it's bigger than just the nuclear bombs. It is, with the 12ers and everything.
Control of the world.
I know.
It's really control of the
And
world.
what in that little can you got right there that says little Echo Power Blend, 2-stroke motor oil. That's what it's all about.
It's all about this.
It's
Here we
all
go.
about that because Iran
I don't want to put it over
controlled
the iPad.
that whole area right there is about
Zoom in
from
on this.
56 to
I'm giving you a
59%.
shot, man. I'm giving you guys a shot. Uh-oh, this oil got a little sludged out.
Sludged out. Well, yeah, you need some more refinement process there.
No,
but
it's been sitting in here.
But 56 to 59% of the world's oil is right there. Iran right now controls 2/3 of that oil.
Unbelievable.
And they want that other third really bad. And who owns it? Saudi Arabia.
Why is this stuff on my desk? We're a part 2, folks, of a 3-part series. And we're focusing in on a Hezbollah terrorist who has ignited more turmoil in the area. Imad Mughniyeh, Imad, not Imam, Mughniyah. You pronounce it several different ways. But he was killed in 2008, and in our 3-part series, which probably will be 7 parts, by the time we're done with it, we're gonna tell you about how Imad Mughniyeh was whacked by a joint operation of the CIA and the Mossad. That because most probably it was leaked by the White House. This is confidential information that now is out. The Washington Post did a big story on it. Where's the Washington Post get their leaked information from?
Here we go. Yeah.
So we're going to tell you that story. Why it's relevant and why it relates to the oil sitting on my desk here is because Imad, I-M-A-D, Imad Mughniyeh, who was whacked, killed by a unique bomb placed inside
Man, is this story so cool?
Yeah,
What's the story, real quick?
Oh, well, bad guy responsible for the Beirut bombings, for
Yeah,
a whole bunch
dirtbag.
of stuff.
Total Muslim dirtbag.
Yeah,
Well,
but-
the supreme
A
Shia,
supreme-
the number
Yes.
one Shia terrorist of the century.
Yep. Brilliant strategist, tactician, Iranian operative.
Heartless.
He's a tid. He's a total tid.
But
Total
but,
Islamic dirtbag. Yep.
But he's killing everybody all over the world in unique operations. And finally, authorities were given from the United States, from George Bush, that this guy has to die, and Israel knew that. So there was a joint CIA Mossad operation.
Right.
And he's from Lebanon, but he was in Syria. Right around Damascus, and he's leaving dinner one evening and goes to his car, gets in his car, and somehow, we'll get into it in more detail, the spare tire in the back of those
No,
Jeeps.
he was walking. He was walking down a
There's two
street.
reports. There's two
I heard he
reports.
was walking down a street when it happened.
No, there's two reports. One report is the bomb blew out and killed him as he walked by it. But the more accurate report, the bomb had a shaped charge shooting inside the car.
Oh, really?
So that they didn't want collateral damage.
Around.
That
because
was
of
part
assassination.
of, in order for Bush to sign off on the presidential directive, was that there could be no collateral damage. And so they tested this bomb built into a spare tire over 25 times in
get it just
Virginia.
right.
It's CIA laboratory there.
Yeah.
Phenomenal story.
So the spare tire had the shaped bomb inside, and it blew into the cab of the car. And and they were trying to, in terms of the thermodynamics and all the physical issues, they were trying to keep the bomb inside the car just to kill him, and it worked.
Well, you know what's crazy? This is how much that we follow the laws as a country. There was an opportunity when Bush signed off on the presidential directive to get Mughniyeh. At one point, they had an IRCG general with Mughniyeh that they could have taken out simultaneously, but because there was no presidential directive signed for that particular Iranian general, they didn't do it. Now think of the lives saved if we would have just taken them both out.
Yep. And what's fascinating with this story is that this joint CIA Mossad operation, the CIA agents were on the ground. And when you hear CIA agents, these are not white guys from Washington, D.C. These are Muslims who are in the CIA or CIA operatives, and they were probably sitting down like a bum on the street or a street vendor, whatever. And they had to give the signal that he got into his car. They had no control over the igniting device.
Oh.
So all they did was say he's there. The Israelis had the button in Tel Aviv.
Really?
Yeah.
So they had to be coordinated all over. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
now
that-
the U.S. could not pull the trigger, but they could call off the operation.
Could call it off.
They had the authority to put the brakes on it, but they did not have the trigger.
If he carried a little baby with him into the car, they were going to call it off. So pretty cool
Well,
operation.
so the coordination thing had to be phenomenal.
It was
I mean,
phenomenal.
you have to coordinate it with CIA Langley.
Most likely, this is when they got him. Most likely they missed him 5 times
Right.
because they called it off for whatever reason. You never hear about those. But this is where, it's like we went after bin Laden a lot, but this is where they got him. But how is all this relevant to everybody today at 54 minutes after 4 o'clock? Well, 2 weeks ago, supposedly the Israelis, I don't know who else it would be, though they haven't admitted it, but who'd be flying helicopters over Israel. I don't think any country can fly a helicopter over Israel, and Israel would allow that, but you never know. An Israeli helicopter fired a missile, a couple of missiles into a convoy on the Syria side of the border, and on March 21st, you can come with us, folks. We'll be there March 21st through the 31st on an amazing national security briefing. We're going to go right up to an area not far from where all of this happened. Contact me, tom@theunitedwest.org. About 2 weeks ago, missile hits the convoy, Iranian general killed, and Mughniyeh's son, Imad Mughniyeh, this guy that got whacked in 2008, His son, Jihad, that we opened at the beginning of the show, we'll show you a little bit of Jihad.
Here he is.
Jihad in front of about 20, 30,000 people. There's the son and the dad. Jihad Mughniyeh.
Together again.
Together again. He got evaporated by this missile.
Good.
That really got the Iranians very upset. So they went to Hezbollah and said, kill a couple of Jews, will you please?
No,
and they did. They
Was
successfully-
Jihad like a little cultural hero over in Iran, like kind of like a little superstar?
Superstar. Total superstar.
He looks like he's 12 years old.
He's like he appealed to the
He was
younger
18
crowd.
in that picture when his father died. He was about 22, 23. And when he died 2 weeks ago, Jihad, right there, he was riding with an IRGC general at 22 years old.
IRGC, what's that?
The
Iranian
Revolutionary
Guard
Guard
Corps.
Okay.
And that's a serious, it's like riding around with
SEALs.
Schwarzkopf or something.
Yeah. A SEAL general or something.
So as a result of the Israelis killing Jihad Mughniyeh, they launched an attack against a couple of IDF guys sitting in a Jeep with a Cornet missile that we showed last week, a very, very vicious weapon.
We just showed it.
Yeah, and killed them, killed the two soldiers and wounded like 7 others. We haven't heard about their
So this is a saving face operation? Is that what it was?
That was a saving face, and they said it. They said this is retaliation. Now everybody was saying, is Israel going to retaliate? But Israel's not retaliating, at least not that way at this point.
I think everyone's hoping cooler heads prevail. Obviously Israel, because Israel would rather live its life in peace, because that's what Jews and Israelis do. But Hezbollah is really hoping things don't escalate. As much as they'd love to wipe Israel out, it's not a possibility right now. They have their hands full with Islamic State in Syria. The last thing they need is to open up another front and get their asses kicked by Israel and the IS. Listen, if Hezbollah attacks Israel, IS wins Syria, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Islamic
So you
State.
have
You mean
Assad.
Islamic State, yeah.
You have Assad and the Iranians. As much as they'd like to do it, they know that it will open the door for IS to totally take out Assad and institute that as part of their territory.
And that's the reason the King of Jordan all of a sudden opened up his embassy in Tel Aviv, because he sees all these dirtbags around him are getting very, very close to Israel, and he's going to get sucked into it because he's right on the border of Israel, and he has a nice peace with Israel. He has for many years now.
Got a peaceful
He
border,
still
yeah.
supports the Muslim Brotherhood, and he still
does.
tries to
But-
demographically flood Israel. So let's not make him out to be a saint
I
by
never
any
did.
means.
I
He's not
never
a
said
saint.
that. Not a saint.
He's a realist. And
Yes.
he's got U.S. special operators helping protect them too. I mean,
Yeah.
we know we have people there helping protect them because he's a valuable asset
Right.
in light of our strategic interests, which are
I think he's seen the
oil and
light.
peace.
I
Yeah,
think
it's
he's
better
seen
than
the light.
al-Baghdadi.
Yep.
a little bit better.
Hey, he's seen the light. He goes, these guys over here, these Muslims are complete
Now,
total
this
whack
makes
jobs.
it difficult for us in a sense because we critique the system of Islam very, very directly, and it ought to be critiqued. I was thinking
Not by
on
you,
the way to
Kufar.
work today, we need to do an evaluation of. There's about 200 countries in the world. How many are at war? And of those that are at war, how many are Islamic countries? I think there's going to be a disproportionate.
Yeah,
number.
I think so,
Well, what does
Tom.
that say about the system of Islam? You can't just say, "Oh, the fact that there's 47 wars going on and 46 of them are Muslim wars."
That's Islamophobic.
That has nothing to do with Islam.
Well,
Just ask Obama. He would tell you it definitely has nothing to do with Islam.
Well,
But my point is this.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
mean, we critique Islam quite a bit, but as national security analysts, we have to be realists to say, al-Sisi is against the Brotherhood right now, but he's got, he's an Islam
Zigzagee
guy.
bomb.
You know?
he's
an Islam guy.
he's
And at some point when maybe the geopolitics change in the future, he may switch. But right now, it's expedient to have him in a relationship that's good for the United States.
But this country is throwing that relationship away. This administration is busy meeting with the Muslim Brotherhood that al-Sisi banned instead of working with al-Sisi.
I'm talking from Israel's point.
Imam Abdullah, what do you think about all this?
Yes.
This is a lot of violence going on. I'm not very comfortable with the way that the Shia groups have been advancing lately. I'm not happy with the way this administration has seemed to embrace Iran and the mullahs. I am not happy with the advances of Hezbollah. Very not good. Not 1 year ago, you hear very little from the Shia heretics, and we've been dominating the headlines, and now it looks like Iran and Hezbollah stealing some of our thunder.
And that's a good note to end today's show on. Today, part 2 of our 47-part series, because I got so much stuff to go through here.
I know.
But, all right, well, what does all of this mean? It means stay tuned for part 3 tomorrow. See you. Bye-bye.